I think they're trying to pit us against each other to make us weaker.
Yeah, and that's it's my understanding, and I've read a fair amount to try to understand it better about Marxist theory, and in fact, conflict within society is something that is used by Marxists to try to win people over and get their way, make them more reliant on it. You simply can't resolve this conflict. You've got to have more government, more power, more control. Your individual liberty and your individual freedoms and powers just have to be abandoned in favor of the collective. That doesn't make any sense to me, but that seems to be front and center in the Democrat ideology these days.
It makes no sense, and people have got to stand up and start and stop accepting that we have to do these things. It is not right. It is not the right thing. Our churches need to stand up. Our citizens need to stand up. When woke corporations decide that we need to stop buying their products.
Mm-hmm. It's there was a report this weekend that I saw about Disney. No surprise there, I guess, but you could argue that no company on the planet has benefited more from the virtues and the benefits of capitalism and free markets than Disney. And the very people who are, to a great extent, their target market are the exact ones that they're now vilifying and demonizing, and they're teaching their employees right off the bat, America is an irredeemably systemic racist nation. This is insane. It's just not true. How do we debunk this stuff and get our message out better? People are coming forward, but that's just not true. Are we perfect? No, we're way better than the rest of the world, not even close.
Well, it's so difficult because you have the big tech companies which shut down any conservative voice. You have our university, even some of our lower schools now indoctrinating kids and telling them wrong. And what's the funniest thing of all is you got 4 old white guys who are billionaires at Disney telling everyone that they need to get away with their privilege. Well, why don't they give all their money? They can give it to me. I can spend it well.
That's a good point. It just seems to be crazy. You know, the other thing we're witnessing, Congressman, is you've got some states that are prohibiting teaching critical race theory in their schools, in their public schools. Oklahoma, I think, was the latest one. Montana is one. Ron DeSantis in Florida. Tennessee, I think, late last week. And then you've got the state of Washington that went in the opposite direction. They're requiring it to be taught in their schools. It seems like our states are kind of dividing on this line to a great extent. That can't be good for this country, yet we got a president who says, certainly throughout his campaign, he was the unifier. He was going to come in and unite us. Now we're dividing people on the basis of their identity stronger than we ever have. I look for the time when Nancy Pelosi comes in and makes it a requirement that the members of the House have to undergo critical race theory training.
I'm sure that'll come. It is unbelievable, but they don't make sense. I mean, look at it. We don't want to have an ID. You should just be able to say, I swear I'm a citizen, and sign a piece of paper, and you can vote, whether in person or by mail. But we want to do background checks and check your photo ID to make sure that you purchase a firearm or buy alcohol. There is no rationale behind any of the things that they do, and they're actually contradictory in many things that they do.
So since we last talked to you, of course, the president finally came out of the White House in his basement, wherever the hell he's living, and addressed the nation in what was the craziest situation, just the images of the House of Representatives and him speaking with people spread out and about a fifth of the normal attendees present, all wearing masks and spread out and elbow bumping and all that stuff. That was just surreal that this country, it made us look weak, sir. I just got to tell you. Were you in attendance? Were you amongst those invited? How does that work?
I was not invited, nor did I want to be. And quite frankly, I didn't even watch it on TV. It's more of the same old garbage. Had I been there, I would have probably taken a page out of Nancy's playbook and ripped
Ripped
the
it.
speech in two.
Well, just as you think it can't get any crazier, we've already spent $6 trillion. Now we got more in the works with these tax and spend policies. You got a really narrow margin in the House. Do you think, as drafted, what is it, the American Families Plan, I guess, and I hear the price tag keeps going up on that thing, is that going to make its way through the House over it to the Senate? Do you think the Democrats she going to make everybody walk the plank, or some going to break off and vote against it?
She has been very hard, and I just hope that the people back home in these areas understand that their representative voted for this stuff and that they vote them out the next time. Hopefully they will come over and do the right thing, and if they do, they should be rewarded. But if they follow the party line and her left, then they need to be accountable in the elections next year.
Right. I completely agree. And now the president says, we're going to pay for this by taxing what amounts to a sliver of the population. It's just like everything we're just going to dump on the most successful in society, and they're going to pay for everybody's health care and child tax credits and community college and just the whole gambit of social programs, and we're going to define that and term that as infrastructure. This is just out of control, and my concern is, and I know you share it, the money is certainly a concern, but it's the expansion of government and what appears to be, and anytime you expand government, somebody's giving up their freedoms, if not all of us. That's more disturbing than anything.
It absolutely is, and we continue to give up more freedoms every day. We become more indebted every day. This money is being spent, and listen, defense is getting a cut while we're giving 18% increases, not even counting the CARES money and all that went to these other domestic programs. We continue to cut. The only areas that are cut is going to be defense and border security.
Unbelievable. And, of course, we got the situation on the border, which the president refuses to acknowledge as even being a problem. It's out of control. Well, we're out of time here, Congressman. I appreciate you coming on the show, and most importantly, appreciate you fighting on behalf of the values of your district and what I think represents the vast majority of Mississippians. We appreciate it, sir.
Thank you, and we'll talk again soon.
You got it. Congressman Trent Kelly has been our guest.